It's like, no, give us your troops. You don't want to let us recruit them. That's fine. Give us your troops, right? We're going to tell these little villages, not only are you giving us troops, but they're going to be on the front lines as we besiege Razi here. Now, we've got a couple armies following us still here. There's a huge force defending Razi, but I think we can power our way through this. Now, I'm getting uncomfortable, right? The further away we get from our homeland, it really is like a clock is ticking in the back of my head, right? There's all these sandstorms. Hopefully we get some good battles with these sandstorms. We've had a couple battles for the campaign with sandstorms, but they haven't been of the epic nature that I'm hoping to have in this campaign. We'll cross our fingers for that. But as we get further and further south here, of course, we're further from our homeland. Now this guy here, this Southern Empire force, let's trap this guy. I got two armies coming. We've got our attack dog. Willowbark is here with us, ready to rock and roll. This guy's a dead man. And of course, this is vital. We want to make sure we eliminate any armies that are outside our castle or our city here. We don't want to be attacking the city and then have a huge force of Southern Empire come down on us, right? We want to be the initiator of combat. So we'll release Talia Willowbark here, and this guy is trapped, right? We now have forces all around him. We'll add these forces. I think that should do. This guy's just sitting there like a dipshit. Well, you're trapped. We got forces all wrapped around you. Hopefully we can catch his caboose too. There's an army behind him here, and this is basically like an abortive attack. This army doesn't even get off the ground. They never even got assembled, and they're just destroyed on the field here. Pretty important to do this, right? Because obviously if we're being assailed and having to fight large battles on our way down here in this campaign to the south, it's going to make everything much harder. We're definitely in a slow war of attrition here of troops. Those two castles where we had to leave garrisons after we take Razi, we'll have a decision to make, right? I will probably keep going, right? We've got a large army, but again, leaving 200 troops in each location, you can do the math, right? We've got 1,400. We'll be down to under 1,000 after Razi, or in the ballpark of that, right? It's very difficult to continue to siege when your army starts to get small. So pick up a few prisoners here, and it'll be on to the siege of Razi. Now, I'm going to take 4 or 5 days, I think, to set up catapults and destroy their catapults at Razi. But again, that clock really is ticking. I'm growing increasingly concerned about the homeland because we have just a small army back there and a couple of loose armies defending it, right? The garrisons, there are probably places that are being raided, right? So there's a lot of villages that are, the troops are, speak of the devil, right? Lycaron. Now, Lycaron's been under siege repeatedly, and Matunis here has actually already defended it. It looks like they reformed their army. This is gathering near. Well, they're doing a good job, though, right? They're down to 770 troops, but I want to say in this campaign, these guys are like 13-0. Our companion armies somehow have avoided being captured, which is miraculous. There's been a lot of micromanagement, of course. I've been basically... my spidey senses are going off, right? And I'm like, get over here. I disband them, make them join our force as being defended by Matuna's army. That's beautiful, right? So those guys are, that means they almost always engage when they're going to win, when there's a high chance of success. So they're probably going to be successful. And of course you're worried, right? You're going to see a bunch in the lower left-hand corner there, a bunch of orange color. That's the color, generally the default color for when your troops are captured. I want to see a bunch of green, right? That'll mean that they were successful and defended Lycaron. But these armies, they have to be micromanaged, right? We've repeatedly broken these armies up and called them to us. Oh shit! Oh shit! I thought that was them being captured. Instead, it's this guy fucking betraying us right in the middle of this siege assault. And of course, I can't move. The Beni Zalal, and they've done this before. They just leave. Pretty close to betrayal, right? We're like literally in the siege camp, setting up a siege to attack here. Now they're sieging Chanopsis Castle, which, if my memory serves me, is just north of Lycaron. I'm not thrilled about that, and the reason generally is that your own smaller armies are much better off playing a defensive role. Now that guy's going to be locked into siege, where it's pretty likely at some point or other he's going to be vulnerable and be destroyed. And the worst part is I don't think I can stop him. I don't think I can make him now disband his army. You can't stop armies that are in an active battle. You can't make him disband. Yeah, see, it's grayed out. So, that sucks. That's our only defense force. And again, that adds to my consternation here. The further south we get, the more our homeland is vulnerable. Now, these guys are actually aiming for the wall instead of the fire catapult. If they keep doing that, I guess we'll just try to take one of these walls out. They took the catapult out. I think we will try to take down one wall here. There's a gigantic defense force here. This could be a really difficult city to siege. Actually, even if we take a wall down, this is going to be a very difficult city. I'd like to build 2 fire catapults. I got 2 fire onagers right now, and they're blasting the enemy fire catapults. The wall's almost down, but I also hate taking the extra time to do this, right? This extra day or 2 that we're going to spend here taking this wall down is more time that our homeland is vulnerable. Now, who are we vulnerable to, right? I'm not going to go to the diplomacy screen. I can just tell you while we finish. Hit that wall, motherfuckers. We're vulnerable mostly to the Western Empire. The Valandians are a threat. In fact, I think they just sieged Lycaon, but the Western Empire is manifestly more of a threat, right? The Valandians are dealing with other kingdoms. They don't have the resources to send all their forces at us. The Sturgeons, we're at peace with them, but at any moment, they could just, all of a sudden, they just rip up the piece of paper that says we're at peace and start invading like crazy. That's a very real possibility at any point. Now, the Southern Empire is a threat too, but of course, if the Southern Empire is going to do anything, we'll see it, right? They'll come right by here at Razi. All right, so the wall's down. Let's pause everything here and launch this siege. We've got 2 fire onagers. There's a hole in the wall, and we have 1,700 troops. So we got a good shot at succeeding here. Better set up for this shit. This is some serious shit here. It's another absolutely cinematically beautiful scene. I mean, it's incredible how beautiful the Aserai scenes are, especially with all the red colors and the sunlight. I think this is a sunrise. It sort of puts to shame all the other kingdoms, like having battles in the dark trees of Britannia. I'm so glad I chose the Aserai because, of course, we're in the Pacific Northwest where the sun barely shines all winter. And like a lot of folks, I'm pretty winter weary at this stage, right? I miss the sun. Motherfucking Southern Hemisphere has stolen our sun for months now. We want it back. And this is, it's just a video game, but it's refreshing to have sun in my eyes in game. Now we're going to... Look at that. That is just gorgeous. Now, we're going to assault this right side where the hole is with 3 divisions, but I plan on being diabolical here. First, we've got fire catapults. Now, I wish they'd shoot them over here where the hole is. Oh, shit. The enemies, there's so many enemies defending here that they're sticking out like it's a subway car that the doors can't even close. We need to get troops up here immediately. 4th, 5th, 6th. The 6th we're going to use to actually bait the enemy here. Let's see if we can't draw these guys out, and then hopefully our catapult guys dial these guys in, right? Oh, shit. That was exactly what I'm talking about. That Jewel on there just killed like 15 of these guys. Now, these guys are going to be under an unbelievable fire. Look at the hail of javelins, right? It's an incredible barrage of javelins. But we need to, right? There's just shields all the way to the very back wall there. Now, I'm not going to use the RTS mode much in game sort of to exploit it, but just a slow-mo. Look at that shit. These poor guys in there. Their shields are breaking because there's so many different weapons getting hit in there. And they're going to get bombarded with... Here comes a fireball right now, right? Kaboom! Right? The whole screen fills. How beautiful. That guy's getting a raise. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to bait these guys out because I want them being shot and scorched by javelins. Right now, they're blocking a lot of the projectiles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use our 6th division in a square. And of course, it's this stupid landscape here where you can't jump. You have hardly any mobility. I'm going to get this 6th Corps, and we're going to put it right to the edge of the door, adjacent to it, if that makes sense. I don't want to go in there because these guys will get scorched, which reminds me of a funny American Civil War anecdote. We'll see if I have time to tell it. But I want these guys baiting the enemy out, just like this, so they kind of surge in and out and get scorched. Now, that time the catapult kind of hit our troops as well as theirs. We obviously need them to hit mostly the enemy troops here. Pick up some javelins here. What I want is the enemy to come out just like this. What are these guys doing? What is this? You think this is the medieval version of Match.com or Tinder, motherfuckers? Not to mention, this is the heterosexual fucking version. What are these guys doing? They're like barreling down the hill at us. How strange. But this is good, right? These guys coming out, this is great news for us, right? We have all of these javelin throwers and archers shredding everything in sight. On top of that, every once in a while, we get a fucking flaming catapult that does that, right? The whole screen fills with the enemy being immolated. Fucking beautiful. And this is exactly what I was hoping for, right? Get this 6th Corps here to bait the to bait these guys. I kicked that guy, and then a javelin guy fucking threw a javelin right through his ear hole. This is beautiful. It's oh shit, flame, and that one was kind of a mixed shot. He killed some of theirs and some of ours. Look at this, the enemy's surging out here. We like this. This is good for us, right? We've got all these archers and crossbow and javelin throwers. Now, they have tons of elite troops, right? Their whole army is tier 5 and 6. Oh, shit, they're pouring back in. Let's get a shot in here. You wish you could tell these guys, fire. They're turning their catapults. Shoot. Yeah, there we go. You fucking guys are scorched. Fucking beautiful. They're getting blown all over the place. All right, let's put a little pressure on them here in between fire shots, but I want to slip this story in here, this little anecdotal. It's a true story from the American Civil War. I got to be careful here, not get scorched by these guys. In fact, I think it makes sense to continue to jockey with these guys until those catapult guys quit scorching us. Like at any time, they could just kill me. Okay, they're shooting the other direction here. I think we'll just keep jockeying at range here. That way I can also tell my story. We can bring a few more reinforcements up for the 6th because, of course, they've suffered losses. God, look at the enemy troops are pouring out still. So American Civil War, the Confederate side, they had what you would call sort of as the very early sort of prototypes of explodable mortar round cannons, right? In other words, a cannon that fired a round that would explode, and it would explode based on a timed trigger, right? They weren't like the fuse, like a cartoon like Bugs Bunny. They were, it was a cord you would cut, right? It was a certain length to it, and that would set off a timer. Well, these guys were very inaccurate with these rounds, right? And what would happen, and that's why it reminded me of this, is they would fire these rounds and they would be guesstimating when they would explode, right? Well, unfortunately, a lot of times they were forced to fire it over the top of Confederate units' heads, right? Basically, the Confederate soldier infantry marching towards the enemy, and then they would have these rounds going over their heads that would explode sometimes and kill the Confederates. Well, this happened so often that there were multiple instances, reports of where the infantry turned around as they were marching and pointed their muskets at the Confederate artillery and said, stop firing those rounds over our head. You're fucking killing us with explodable rounds. And of course, I think the artillerymen got the message, right? When you're having muskets pointed at you, you're like, okay, I understand. Anyways, that's what made me think of this friendly fire is very much like it, right? Because these guys on the catapult, as Wazu was an expert of, right? Wazu, this guy's father, was an expert at immolating his own troops. And the AI will pretty readily immolate you and your troops in an effort just to kill everything in sight. Anyways, I thought that was worthwhile sharing related to this. Is kind of this friendly fire thing. Now here I'm trying to shove these troops through, but I don't think we can. I think the enemy has so many defenders at the entrance here that we're going to have to apply pressure in other locations. Now I keep zooming in on the catapults because I want to see if they're turning them this way. Of course, if they turn them this way, we'll retreat. We'll back out of the door, right? Because they'll kill us. Yeah, they're still shooting the other direction. What's this? The enemy's coming out. What's this? Fucking enemy? Is you guys assaulting us? Come get some, right? Don't know what's happening here. To hell with you, he says. And we pick up some javelins. I think let's apply some pressure to the main gate. I want to check the other side here as well. Now, if you remember, the enemy, see, they're just like hitting the towers and shit over here with the fireballs. Not so terrific. If you remember, the enemy had 2,000 defenders here, right? So they have a vast amount of defenders, and it's important to remember we have the battle size mod running, right? So that means there are 2,000 units on the battlefield. So while we have a lot of troops, the enemy has an insane amount of defenders, right? Probably 1,200 defenders inside this city. And this city, it's congested, right? There's not a huge amount of space. And remind me to mention that point, like you guys can remind me. I will try to remind myself to mention a really interesting point about Razi. It has to do with the defense, trying to defend Razi as yourself. Yeah, see these guys over here, I see the catapult rounds and they're just flying over hitting the walls and shit impotently. All right, so let's apply pressure on that side over there. We'll charge with some units and let's see if we can't shove a hole here, right? I've got the 5th Division behind me. We can shove an infantry square. There's a Lord. She took 2 javelin shots and didn't die. 300 and something damage, and she's like, "That's all you got?" Now, God, there's a lot of defenders here. I thought there'd be less, but it's literally shields to the back wall there. We're going to still try to shove our way in. What I'm going to try to do is push a hole through this mountain of troops and then drag a bunch of attackers in here. I don't actually want them attacking at the gate there. I just want us pushing a hole here. I'm going to try to drag these guys around the corner here. Get a little bit of safety from all these javelin bolts. And then once there's 40, 50, 60 guys in here, then we can attack, right? Then we have more units in here that can get their sword on the enemy. I can drill, I was going to say drill the enemy and drill my own troops with a javelin or two. He is Wazu's son. And now I think we can actually make some progress here. We've got a bunch of guys here wearing their black uniforms. The enemy's got purple. It's a little bit hard to tell, but hopefully you guys can see the difference. Most of those guys are really obviously wearing purple. We get some archers spread out in here, and we can really start scorching the enemy. The front gate is a total fucking scrum, chaotic mayhem. But I'm super stoked. I keep looking up there to make sure it's recording. Like, these are the kind of battles I was really excited for when I started this campaign. I mean, this is 2,000 on 2,000 in a giant sprawling city battle with just elite troops and good commanders. And this just is, this campaign has just been amazing so far. You know, some of these sieges I'm not going to show. In fact, I may not save those 2 castle sieges we just did, right? Those were sort of run-of-the-mill castle defenses. This is all the enemy fucking archers. Oh, shit, they just started rushing me. Let's give them a welcoming party here. I'm fucking in trouble here. I got those forces there. Well, I got 330 athleticism, but I'm sort of on my own here. I've trapped myself here. Now, fortunately, these guys are doing dipshit stuff. They're like trying to run up and jam the gate. And we should have forces coming from the other direction soon. Now, these guys paying no attention to me. This is not advisable behavior. A guy swinging an axe as hard as he can. 7 foot tall, angry Arabic fella. This is not a good decision to look the other way. If we can get archers spread out in here, though, to support this infantry, I think we have a good chance of winning this siege. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to win, but especially to minimize losses, right? We can't have a Pyrrhic victory at this stage. If you've never heard of the term Pyrrhic victory, that's a term that essentially refers to a battle where you won, but the cost of it was so bad that it's actually damaging overall for your kingdom, right? It's like the other saying is you won the battle and lost the war, right? You want to avoid that, right? It's much more important actually to win the war than any specific battle. Now, individual battles can mean the war, but you can also just devastate your army by getting mauled in a fight where you win technically, but the losses are so great that it's like losing. Now over here, it looks pretty clear. We're starting to overrun this place, right? These guys here are fighting. It's a fucking maelstrom, though. Everywhere I look, there's just heavy blows being dealt, right? And the enemy's got legionnaires and shit in here wailing away with their royal purple. It's a gorgeous scene. I keep looking up to make sure it's recording because this is going to be awesome to share with you fellas. We got this gorgeous sunshine lighting everything up. There's smoke and flames and fucking troops fighting everywhere. There's fucking carcasses littered everywhere on the blood-soaked fucking floors. There's body parts and people fucking laying all over the place. It's beautiful violence if such a thing exists. And it's been tactically interesting and challenging too, right? This was no gimme here. This castle or this city, these guys, and they're still fighting like dogs, right? They're not giving up. They're holding their shields up and doing the best they can. You almost feel for them, right? Even this little guy here, this little infantryman, he's doing everything he can, right? He's holding up his shield all bravely as Wazu Bahn just bores in on him, right? This mountain-looking motherfucker swinging his axe as hard as he can. And the guy's like, oh shit, and he's holding his shield up. You can just picture him. He's like, damn it, when do I swing? And then you get kicked and killed. Like, it's a tough situation for these poor guys. Like I said, you almost feel bad, but it's still, they're the enemy, the infidel motherfuckers. Let's kill them. I've been avoiding any of the religious undertones, right? The world has enough fucking carnage and divisiveness without me adding to it and saying, you know, we're Muslims and these are Christians, sons of bitches. We're not going to go there in this campaign. We will be apolitical, or try to be anyways. It's hard these days because people politicize everything. But one thing on the channel I've tried to do is not really say, hey, I support this, I'm against that, right? I'll share my philosophies and you guys can infer some of my beliefs. But we're going to keep this channel relatively politically independent here. Now look at this thing, these poor bastard, these these Southern Empire forces are literally in a slaughter pen. They can't even retreat. They're being fucking pushed off the walls and shit, swallowed up by our vicious forces here as palace guards and whatnot execute these guys. This battle is over. This city is ours. And I want to make a point out of this city here, besides the fact that it's gorgeous. Look at that shit, just on the water. What an absolutely beautiful, picturesque city. I would move in a heartbeat. This city is one of maybe 3, 4, 5 castles and or cities in the whole game where it's better to let the AI defend. And what I mean by that is I've done custom battles with this, trying sort of the style of defense that you guys know I like, and I was rarely able to beat the AI in sort of KDR and kill ratio and efficiency of defense. In other words, this city has the walls with the right angles here to allow the AI defenders good positioning on the walls, and it does a good job with its infantry defenses, so that under most of my tests, the AI exceeded what I was able to do with my strategy. So this is one of the rare cases where, apart from a little bit of micromanagement, maybe some crisis management, you want to let the AI defend Razi. And I want to make that point because, of course, some of you guys are using this campaign as a model or like a guide to help you play your own campaign, right? If you're playing an Aserai campaign and maybe you're a month in or whatever, just know that Razi is one city where you don't want to alter the defenses too much. That doesn't mean I won't try again, but my early attempts, and I made several every time, or almost every time. There was one time I was able to have better success. Almost every time, though, the AI did a better job using archers on the walls, right? And you might do an even better job using the scatter around mod, but so far, I haven't played around with that mod enough to really consider myself good at it. Some nice loot here, but most importantly, right, the best arrows in the game, right? Anytime you get the best arrows in the game, you do a little cartwheel in your head, right? Legendary piercing arrows. That's beautiful. In fact, we got, was it Egan? Is one of our new guys that just came of age, right? This guy's 18. This is the equivalent of giving your son a Porsche, right? When they turn 18, we're giving him, this archer, the nicest arrows in the game, right? So even though he's new, he's got weak skills. In fact, he's 30 bow skill, and this guy's got legendary piercing arrows, right? The proverbial Porsche indeed to the 16-year-old. What a lucky spoiled fuck. Sell off some of these lords here, right? Get some money for them. And I don't think I'll subject you to this again. I continue to skip these just because it seems like if there's anything that I want to skip, this is a good thing to skip. We'll do a little upgrades here. You see a little bit of our process. We'll pour some money into the city so they continue doing upgrades. And then we're going to shuffle the garrison around here a little bit, right? I want to leave a couple hundred troops in most of these cities so that we can defend them. And then I've got a decision to make, right? Do we head home? This dipshit is sieging Tanupsis Castle, which is bad because I won't be able to pull him off of there. I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable about the situation in the north. Shit. Fucking recording. Damn it. All right, well, we missed a minute or two there. But fortunately, nothing material happened there. Let's see. Try to think if I want to do an update. I think we'll do a very brief one. I'm getting uncomfortable about the homeland here, right? As we get further and further south into former Aserai, Southern Empire territory here, the rest of our kingdom is under the firing squad here, right? Is vulnerable to attack by the enemy. Primarily the Western Empire is what I'm worried about. Valandia on some level. Right, we're at peace with the Aserai, and they're paying us a tribute. Thank you, Guzid. But the Western Empire is actually stronger from us. In other words, they have more armies than us. The Southern Empire we're starting to gain the upper hand on, and that's why I want to continue to push in on them. Valandia is a threat, so I'm concerned about them as well. But they're also busy with another kingdom or two. I'm not sure who they're at war with. It doesn't really matter. It's the Western Empire that I'm worried about. And unfortunately, this army, I can't disband him and make him come to me. I'm very worried he's going to get captured here, and I'm going to see a bunch of orange in the lower left corner here, which is your indication that the guy lost a battle, right? And I can't force him to disband because it says it's in a map event. So these guys are kind of on their own, and it's kind of like a good luck situation. Like, I hope he doesn't get captured. And I also hope, of course, like all of a sudden we don't see Vostrom or Poros lit up, because I want to make one more attempt here. A little bit like Napoleon when he was closing in on Moscow. It feels like we're too close to Hubyar to not make an attempt. And I should say Hubyar, by the way, is Wazu's original homeland. Now, Wazu's dead, of course, but it's Wazu Bahn's father's original home. So there's sentimental value as well as tactical, strategic value. We have 29 Battanian wildlings. We've been building these guys up from prisoners. Most people know it's my favorite infantry. And we do have a castle under siege. I think that's one of the ones way in the north. There's absolutely nothing I can do about that, right? That's so far away, we're just going to lose it. That's all there is to it. That's the Western Empire. There's 3 little armies out here that are, whatever you want to call them, independent on their own. And I guess I'm hoping that they make an army. I could give them some of our troops, but most of our troops down here don't even have enough troops to be invited to an army. They're under 40%. If you don't know that rule, they can't even be invited to an army unless they're under 40%. Now, Lycaron has been sieged like 4 fucking times. This motherfucker's gonna fall, especially since that guy's busy. Lycaron is being worn out. Valandia and the Western Empire have sort of taken turns attacking that. And incredibly, our army, our little small army up there has defended it a couple times. Well, those guys are now busy. Cerato's castle. Is that ours? Ceratos. I don't get a message. It didn't make the sound, the drums or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's a Sturgeon city. But anyways, we're going to try. Oh, beautiful. They are forming an army. So that's perfect. Even though it's going to be a small army, at least there's a concerted defense attempt. So all of our defensive forces now are in play. In other words, we're down here and all of our other forces are in armies that are part of this campaign. You know, we don't have a vast kingdom yet. We have a lot of territory and not a lot of troops. But at least all of our troops are fighting towards this one same cause, right? These guys are all up there doing work, defending those dipshits are sieging Chanopsis Castle, and Wazu Bahn is closing in on 330 medicine and engineering skill, right? We will do a couple little things here. I'm just kind of doing a perk or two here and there because we don't have any major things to do. But I'm going to try to take this city down, right? We're going to try to take this city down and then rush home. Although we're just not going to be able to get to, what is it, Tepes Castle. That's way too far away. Lycaron is also probably lost. These things we're just going to have to deal with. What I'm worried about is that all of a sudden it's going to be Poros is under siege, right? Or some other major city that I don't want to lose. The Western Empire, I can assure you, is gathering up forces to attack us. My spidey senses have been going off now for about an hour. And we've been pretty lucky so far. It's just been Lycaron, well, and the Tepes Castle. All right, so we're going to take down Razi still. We're going to build a couple catapults here, a fire catapult, blow up their catapults, just like the siege of Razi. Although we don't have to spend quite as much time here. I'm not going to blow down any walls because they have a much smaller defense force, right? It's 1,100 instead of 2,000. So August 8th, August 10th would be my... I keep scoreboard watching because I'm concerned I'm going to see a bunch of orange, one of our companion armies, get captured. But I would like to head north by August 11th at the latest, right? We want to siege this city, be kind of quick, put a garrison here, and then head north. Shibbolzumer Castle. Who was that? That was... What the fuck? Danustica. Okay, so we got to get home. Danustica is our capital. Amitatis. Okay, that's the Aserai sieging. Danustica is our capital, and it's being sieged by an army. Shibbolzumer is being sieged by a Western Empire force. Tepes and Lycaron, right? What is that? Four locations? So this is what happens, right? When the parents leave the home, the fucking... there's a party going on here. All these people are just going crazy, sieging and assaulting our kingdom. And obviously the small amount of defense forces that is going to be inadequate. I don't know how large that force is attacking Danustica, but it can't be small because Danustica has like 800 militia. Fortunately, we left a lot of food. We prepared it for this, right? I didn't think they would siege Danustica, but here we are. So I'm in a hurry to do this. I want that fire catapult destroyed, though. Odrissa Castle. It's like our whole frontier is under siege. Man. Well, the pressure's on now, and we are in a race, right? This is, I feel very much stressed to get back. So we're going to try to blaze through this city, dump off a good-sized defense force, because there's no point in taking this here if it just instantly gets taken back. I'm probably going to leave 250 or 300 defenders. But look at this gorgeous, massive, epic city. We want this, and fortunately no time elapses here. This is instantaneous in the real world, and maybe, just maybe, we can get back. We should be able to save Danustica, but the other ones, who knows, right? And who knows how many forces are assaulting us. I mean, 4, 5, 6 castles are under siege. I kind of lost track. It was a bunch. All right, so we've got ladders here on the left. We're going to take kind of a blunt force attack on the left, and then we will have the ranged attack on the right here. We've got our siege tower on the right, I think, and I'm going to basically pound the enemy at range with our ranged troops, and then send the 6th Corps over with the 5th behind them. The 5th Corps is archers, skirmishers, and the 6th is heavy infantry, right? We will get those guys up that siege tower first. Those 101 guys can lead the way, and we can try to dissect where the enemy's guarding the most. This is a good castle for defense, by the way. I have played around with this just a little bit with the custom battle menu, and I crushed the enemy with this castle. And like I said, this is sentimental value, right? If you guys recognize it at all from the cutscenes, I called it Ayakis. That was just, frankly, that was a dumbass mistake. I just ran into the ghost of Wazu there. This city is Hubyar, even though I call it Ayakis. And look at our trebuchets pounding their ballistas. Beautiful. Let's get these guys pulled up here. We're going to lead by example and get these guys rushing up here because we want these guys to apply pressure, right? This 1st, 2nd, and 3rd division that's going to be over here. We'll give them one range division, give them a little bit of protection, and I want these guys heading up first, right? That's one of the advantages of the ladders is you can immediately put pressure on the enemy before you make your assault in the other location, right, with your siege towers. The siege towers take way longer to get there. So these guys are heading up. And now I will head over and micromanage the siege towers. Fucking getting stuck and running into shit. Stupid things. Fucking just... how beautiful is this? The map is like... I don't know what to call it. It's a bad design. There's basically invisible walls. Let me guess, I can't get over here too? Yeah, it's just lovely. Lovely. It just makes me want to behead some fucks. Alright, so these guys are pouring up the walls. They're already on the walls, causing some noise, so I feel good about that. They have this support core over here. There's a small division leading the ram, but I'm probably not going through the front door in this city. This city has a nasty inner courtyard that defends the ram area. And of course, we will use the RTS mod at times with these sieges. I may not even save this siege, right? I do quite a bit of narrating that you guys never hear. It just goes into the dustbin of time. I edit it out, or I put on some after narration, and you guys frankly never hear it, right? I just narrate to myself, talk in my room like a creepy old guy, and then it just gets deleted. But this I will probably save because there's sentimental value here, and it's still going to look epic, right? We're still facing almost 1,200 defenders, and we're trying to shove our way through by force, right? This is not going to be an easy keep siege. Although that said, look at these poor bastards up here. And of course, I'm throwing my javelins as fast as I can here. Why? Because I have a store on the ground. All I have to do now is run up here to the edge of the ram, and there's going to be 80,000 javelins on the ground. Look at this. I don't even have to move. I can just completely fill my bag from one point. Just stand here. In fact, look at that. That guy was nice enough to give me one more javelin that I can use in my shoulder. That's not a thing, but that would be cool. I got a javelin sticking out of my left shoulder. You can see there's like blood and shit. It's a cool effect. But that would be even more badass if there's a skill where you could pull javelins out and then throw it at the enemy. That would be sick. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. My horse is right here. Let's take a look at the other side here, see what's going on. We'll get a little picturesque view of this massive siege here as our forces storm up. Again, we're still using the battle size mod, right? So it's this epic scene, right? With literally thousands of units on the field, and there's guys pouring up the ramparts and fighting on the walls like dogs. They're smashing the door with the ram, and then over here we're just storming the siege tower. Now I see defenders vulnerable here. Let's get archers put on the flank of this siege tower. I can help a little bit, but of course I have friendly fire. I see recruits. We have recruits and looters in our armies. That's not a good sign, right? That means we're definitely starting to feel the pinch here of attrition. Every one of these cities and castles, this will be our 4th. We are shrinking our army, right? We started with 1,800 or 1,600 or whatever, and we're down. We're probably going to be at 800 or 900 by the time we head north. So we're starting to get stretched a little thin here. 6th Corps led the way. The 5th Corps is behind him. It looks like we literally chased the enemy off, although they're probably just moving to reinforcement locations. Let's get as many guys up as here as we can and pelt these archers. Look like they're going to try to get to spots to shoot at us here. Drilling them, and they are going to set up a nasty defense here. I better get my shield out. We're about to face an onslaught here. There's infantry militia pouring out. Unfortunately, that's where one of the spawn points is, so it's going to be difficult to do tactics in this city. The enemy has a bunch of nasty archers. And, you know, so much for this being easy, right? When they were all retreating there, I thought for a second this might just turn into an easy siege. Nah, the enemy's going to fight like a dog to save this city. Well, you moved in front of it, dude. You can join the javelin and the shoulder club. Me and you both. Now I'm getting shot in the face. But we have seized control of this side pretty well, right? We can start moving troops down the valley. For some reason, these archers are charging. They would have been way better off staying down there in the courtyard. Instead, they suicided on my character. That was stupid. I jumped too far. That was fucking dipshittery right there. There's no enemy forces here. Let's get archers set up here before they bring reinforcements over. I've got the 4th, 5th, and 6th Corps here. Let's get the 7th up here as well. You are dead. I'll tear your limbs. That's one of the corniest little voice acting, but it's still kind of funny too. And of course, by far, it's the funniest thing when some little raggedy militia guy says that, roaring up. We got a giant scrum here as the enemy pours in troops. I can't really tell what they're doing or where they're going. They look like they're all heading over to the left side of the keep, left from our perspective here. They're not really engaging us. There's as soon as I said that, there's hundreds of troops pouring down here, right? We got to bore into these guys. I'll split your skull. It's some more bad. Look at, I got fucking looters in here throwing their little petrified turds. These guys. So again, that tells you we really are down to sort of scraps in our army here. That's not a good sign. Those looters definitely are not from our army, right? We don't have looters. And these poor militia charging Wazu Bahn are just getting cut to ribbons. Oh shit, more militia just poured out behind me. Let's kill this guy here before he throws a javelin at somebody. Fucking asshole. Oh shit. Fucking wipe his legs out. They got more forces there, but we got to deal with this militia first, right? These militia are coming in here. These guys are going to start reinforcing shit. Die, you bastard! Come on! The sound effects to this game are 10 out of 10. It's great. Ugh. Oh. Looking guys just getting carved apart. These little animatronic characters fucking, I'll tear your limbs. Shit's hilarious. If you don't laugh a little bit while you're playing Bannerlord, you're either a really passionless person or you're a serial killer, and killing these little killing things doesn't make you laugh. Like, I always worry about people who don't laugh. It's just like people, they actually did a scientific study that proved that serial killers have one common trait. They all hate flowers. They hate, the beauty of flowers. Like almost everybody, it's like puppies. Almost everybody is just like, that's awesome. If you ever meet somebody who hates flowers, maybe you don't go on a camping trip deep into the woods with them, right? Like, this is unadvisable behavior. And of course, it's because their brain is broken, right? They basically don't appreciate beauty like I and I. Oh shit, fucking guys attacking me. Fucking Mamluk guards trying to behead me. Fucker. Yeah, I'm faster than you, dude. Smashed. All right. They're putting up a good fight here, but we just moved a ton of reinforcements in, and it's almost like I said that and they realized we better retreat. Well, you guys aren't going to be able to retreat, right? We're going to cut you guys down, then we're going to open the door here for the rest of our hordes to pour in. Chop a few times at this door here, and now our troops can storm through the gate. So this city is one of the cities that has one of those interior courtyards. It's basically like a kill box within the city. Somebody kill that fucking guy, fucking coward. Now, this city is not as good as which city is it? Man, it's one of the, I think it's Aserai, has one of the best kill boxes in the whole game. It's basically a vast inner courtyard where you can just stack the enemy up and pound them with archers. but it's still defendable, right? And I'm looking forward to defending a few of these Aserai cities in this campaign. Now, you know it's possible, and this is just an unfortunate reality of the game, right? It's very possible that this campaign ends in, whatever, 8, 10, 12 episodes, and we don't get to defend all these cities, right? It's just possible that the campaign ends. That said, I have a few things in mind for upcoming episodes that hopefully keep things spicy. God, these archers are everywhere. The enemy has a ton of archers in here. I'm getting fucking attacked by little guys with hammers, and my forces that were following me must be destroyed because they're no longer following me. I'm all on my own. Better focus here before I get cut down. I should probably just regroup. I'm being assailed. I see what's happening. The enemy got reinforcements right at the gate, so the guys are having to fight through. Get over here. Charge. We can multitask. Even if I get dropped, it's fine. Anyways, a couple of things I'm planning on doing for this campaign. First, I'm planning on making a couple challenge series as part of this campaign. We're already at the stage where we're starting to dominate the game. The campaign is certainly not over, right? We still have Valandia to deal with, and these other... Can't sleep on these other kingdoms, right? The Sturgeons are still strong. The Britanians still have large armies, but we're starting to get to a stage here as Wazu Bahn gets cut down, where we're starting to roll through pretty much everything that gets in our way. There's a couple things I'm going to do to keep things both interesting and also tactically fun. Oh shit, look at the defenses they have set up over here. This is why they're holding this side. They must watch the channel, right? This is basically the defense structure that we would design. There's like 80 to 100 archers there with infantry holding the ladders. This is nasty. We should have forces coming from the main gate soon, but maybe not before I get cut down with this character too. Anyways, I'll finish the point. Even if this guy gets dropped, it's inconsequential. We're going to do a couple different sort of variants. They're going to be the same saved games, but we're going to do an infantry, extremely infantry-heavy army. In other words, it'll be like almost entirely javelins, right? It's going to be 80%, 90% javelins. In fact, I might even do 100% javelins at one point. We'll see. Now, I'm going to include cavalry. I'm going to include like the Aserai Vanguard Ferris, right? Because that's their noble unit. But no archers, no horse archers and stuff like that, and fight some major forces. We'll probably do a couple, 3 episodes of that. But I'm also, I've got a couple other ideas, right? For different sort of enrichment series, we'll call it, for this campaign. And we shall see. I don't want to spoil too much now, but I've got some other ideas to really make this campaign interesting. And there's a possibility because of that we end up defending some of the more difficult castles in this territory, the Aserai territory, and give you guys sort of that content that some of you guys have really been asking for. Now, speaking of giving us, right, these Aserai peasants here just gave us the city, right? I mean, more accurately, we took it by force, and look at this majestic city, right? This is Wazu's homeland. Let our units here chase down the last guys, although it looks like it's bugged. But look at this spectacular city, right? It doesn't get more architecturally beautiful than this. I mean, I guess I'm sure some guys are like, well, Danustica and this and that. Never mind. What this is it's epic, right? This really does look like a massive, thriving, huge, realistic medieval city. It's got like 3 or 4 different levels. There's gates. There's the huge Colosseum arena. This is just a fantastically designed, epic city, and we are very glad to add this to our arsenal. I mean, the houses go all the way up into the hills there. That is just a fantastic scene right there. Kudos to whoever designed this. Now it's bugged. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to back out here. It's inconsequential. It makes no difference to the battle. Only 500 troops we lost here. That's really good considering. Make sure we had no deaths. I don't want to get surprised. Wazu Bahn gets a little bit more tactics, and we'll just auto-resolve this so that we seize this city. Take this dipshit prisoner. Take a few prisoners here. And our force really is getting dwindled down, and it's going to get dwindled down even more because there's no point in taking this without leaving a large garrison, right? We're going to, just like we left the north vulnerable, we're now going to be leaving Hubyar as well. I could keep pressing on, but with all of those castles and cities under siege, suddenly I feel urgent to get back to the homeland. I'm like Napoleon after the 1812 invasion in Russia. There was talk about a coup. There was all kinds of unrest. Obviously, his campaign didn't end how he wanted it to, right? I don't want to spoil it for you, but obviously it's one of the most traumatic retreats in the history of the world. The 1812 Russian invasion. Maybe that'll be part of my next little historical anecdote, because it's one of the more fascinating events, not just in military history, but human history. At least this army's responding, but our shit's on fire, right? We got castles, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 6. Although, no, it's 5, because Lycaron is gone. So the Valandians took Lycaron, and we have 5 other locations under siege. We got to get home. So we'll do, a little bit of garrison maintenance here. I will probably edit this out. That also tells me I can stop narrating for a couple minutes. A little fancy editing here, and hopefully the next time you see us, we are on the way back north to defend the homeland. All right, well, we stripped down to 360 in our main army. We still have really good army, really good looking army, still a lot of elite troops. We left some pretty elite troops here in Hubyar, but it's time to race back now. Of course, a lot of our companion armies we stripped as well. This gal's down to 70. But 31 master archers, right? We're not bereft and capable of fighting here. I'd give her injured troops, but she doesn't. I don't have enough injured troops really to share with her. And most of the injured troops ended up in the garrison there. But we got to get back, right? Danustica cannot be allowed to fall. Of course, that's our capital. It's a very valuable, prosperous city right in the middle of our empire. But more importantly, that's where all our equipment is, right? That's where all our good loot is. There's tons of food and gold and whatnot there. We're not losing Danustica, right? We will throw all of our weight against the defenses, or with the defenses there. Now, I've got these 2 other armies that are helping, right? I've got this army. He's heading to Odrissa Castle. That's good, right? And they're small, but I want to focus on this point as I race north. See, these 2 armies are 400 troops. Now, you might not think they're capable of doing much, but it's actually really good for defense, and this is a good point to emphasize. A lot of times the enemy attacks a location with a slightly more adequate force than is necessary to take the location. In other words, they will siege a city with 1,200 troops, defended by 600, and end up with 200 or 300 at the end of the siege. Well, if you have a unit, an army unit of 400 troops out there, and they're opportunistic, they can slide in and smash that force in defense at the end, collect all the accolades, get all kinds of prisoners, and most importantly, be victorious, right? That's the most important thing with your companion armies, is that they don't get defeated, right? They lose all their troops. You got to pay for ransoms. It takes a long time to get those armies back on their feet. And so winning is the key. And to this point, still, we have not lost a companion army. It's unbelievable. Some of it's for sure been luck, but we've been doing a lot of micromanaging. There's not a lot of troops here at Razi. I'm not going to steal any here. And I'm also going to... There's a few things I could do to get a few more troops. We could stop at every village along the way and beg for 3 more sons to go to war. Oh shit, this guy right here, I am going to divert to this though. This is the fuck Beni Zilal leader who betrayed us right in the middle of the siege assault. And unless he, well, I guess he could go another direction. We're going to try to corner this guy here. Once we can, okay, I got your ass. Once we can talk to him, this is going to be, unless he doesn't have enough troops. There we go. He's in our army now. So that's much needed, right? Now we're going to have, I don't know, 1,500 troops by the time we get back to Danustica. It is under assault now, so they're assaulting it. And I've seen other army names coming up there. So-and-so is assaulting it. That's not good, right? That means there's more than just an army there. There are smaller forces assaulting Danustica. That's not a good sign. But we should be able to make it back in time. In fact, I think we might be able to save this other castle as well. Shibbolzumer, Tamnu Castle. Shibbolzumer is going to be close, but we're definitely going to save Danustica, or at least we're going to meet whatever's there, right? Now these guys, damn, they're already besieging Hubyar. That didn't take long at all. And if it was any other city than Danustica, I might turn around here and bitch slap whatever's attacking at Hubyar. But I can't afford to lose Danustica, right? This is a situation where, as a commander, as a leader of a clan, you've got to make the right choice. And there's no doubt the right choice here is to go defend our homeland. And importantly, our citadel, our capital. And again, I should reiterate, all of our high-end loot is at this city, right? We've probably got several million worth of loot at this city, not just to sell to other cities, but to equip our companions and whatnot. We've got tons of food. I think there's like 15,000 food there, so the enemy would get all that. We're not tolerating that shit. We're definitely going to defend. And here we just barely made it to Shibbolzumar, so 2 birds with 1 stone here. Or choose your metaphor. We're smashing this force here, and now we're going to slide over to Danustica and throttle the Western Empire fucks that are attacking there. It really is an onslaught of different forces. I mean, you don't see that very often, to have 6 locations under siege at the same time. That is an aberration, to say the least. Really, it's 7 if you count Hubyar. Now, we're going to lose Hubyar, but we're going to turn right back around. Well, it might not be right back around. I got to gather up some troops. I got to clean up some of these companions. But we're going to go back to Hubyar, and we're going to bring an overwhelming force. It is time in this campaign to really unload on the Southern Empire and lean into them with a monstrous roundhouse punch. These fucking guys. Now these guys are in a race to Tepes Castle. For whatever reason, they didn't go to Odrissa. That might mean that there's a large attacking force there that they can't handle. And speaking of large attacking force here, right, we have a gigantic, just a fucking host of different Western Empire forces here attacking Danustica. Hubyar is probably gone. We'll take a peek at it here before we begin. 370, maybe. If we rocketed straight there, we might be able to save it. But one bridge at a time, right? Well, let's handle this force. It's a manifestly huger force than us. Even when we enter the keep here, and that's my plan. I'm not going to fight them in the open. We probably lose in the open. This Western Empire force, they've got a lot of high-end troops. We're going all javelins here. We're going to do a siege defense. I've only defended Danustica like once or twice for this whole campaign. It's not the easiest city to defend. In fact, it has some significant problems as a defender. But we're going to give it a shot here, right? We're going to do a decrease taken melee attack damage. We've got our axe, and we've got 3 stacks of javelins here, and the enemy's about to get pulverized, right? I'm not trying to ruin the suspense for you fellas, but 1,500 defenders, and we have some elite defenders. Probably half to 2/3 of the troops on the battlefield right now are going to be tier 4, 5, and 6. So we've got a juggernaut force to deal with this Western Empire force. 1, 2, 3... We have 4 catapults loaded too, so for whatever reason, they didn't try to siege down our catapults. That's just fucking beautiful for us, right? That's going to add to the slaughter here, and we will give this a defense. This is a situation where a lot of guys just auto-resolve, and you will win handily here, I think. Sometimes the auto-resolve is a little bit wacky for siege, but usually it gives a huge premium to being on defense. And or with high-tiered walls. In this case, of course, we have tier 3 walls and 1,500 defenders, right? We could probably auto-resolve against 6,000 and still win. But I kind of consider auto-resolve cheese. For some reason, I can't put troops down there. Never had this problem targeting here before. We may have to do a little after locating here. It's going through. There it goes. That's not really what I want, because you got infantrymen down on the ground level there, but that's okay. I'm going to defend a couple of these secondary walls. What do they got? They got ladders over here. The secondary walls, what's nice about them is that there's a whole nother layer of protection for archers, right? So they're further away, and they have more things for the enemy archers to sort of shoot through and hit before it hits your troops. So even my guys are doing the old bungee jump off the edge there. What I want here is mostly archers, and I want them thick. Right, even though they're going to get shot more readily, that many guys shooting is going to do some major damage to the enemy. This is my preference to putting your guys in the little window openings because they're so fucking vulnerable, right? They're just plainly visible. Anybody who's played an archer and stood outside a citadel with a fucking dipshit archer standing right in the window and he doesn't move, they're just a headshot waiting to happen. So we'll give them the 3rd Corps and Infantry Division to help sort of defend against the initial guys coming up the ladder there, and that 4th Corps should do major damage on that wall. I got the 6th. Let's see. I got a bunch of mixed divisions here. 1st, 2nd, 6th, and 4th are all and 8th are all mixed divisions. So some of these I'm not sure. I'm going to leave them here, right? There's a ton of archers there. I don't actually know how many archers the enemy has. It's hard to look out on the battlefield and actually see who has a bow and an arrow. They may not have a huge amount. It's always an unknown in a siege. This is distractionary. I'm putting that second core in a shield wall, hoping that they shoot that instead of my archers. A lot of times that actually works pretty decently. If the units are closer to the enemy archers, frankly, they will just shoot at them. Even your own archers, right? If you're using just a standard troop setup, they will shoot, unfortunately, at whatever's closest to them, even if it's a shield. All right, so these guys have beautiful line of sight, and I think we're almost ready to go here. Third core there, second core, skirmishers. Yeah, I like this. This is probably going to work. Negatives with this city. Besides this fucking horde of troops, get the fuck out of my way. I didn't position these guys. This is the 5th core, so just try to push through here and get to the wall. Fuck me, I feel like an angry fucking commuter in a Tokyo subway. I guess we'll go the other way here since you guys are gonna get in my fucking way. I didn't position the 5th, I just realized. So these guys, we'll just put them on ice for now. We've got so many troops for the defense here that we can have a reserve unit, which is not something you normally have for castle defense. Now I'm going to get up here and see and listen, right? And for CPR and for rescue breathing, we do what's called look, listen, and feel. And what you're doing is you're looking for the chest to rise with the lungs inhaling, exhaling. You listen for their breaths, and then you feel for their carotid artery, right? These are all things we do as paramedics, firefighters, first responders. And these guys here, I'm basically positioning them here, and I'm going to hang out, right? We're going to do a little bit of kindergarten here. We're going to basically observe to see if these kids are falling on their face in the kindergarten and eating fucking Tide Pods, or whether or not they're actually doing some good work. In other words, I'm watching for death spam, right? That's the look part. In fact, I never realized this analogy is so accurate. I'm listening for them getting fucking shot to death behind me, and then I guess I'm feeling the mouse. There's no feel here, of course, because it's a fucking video game. They don't have games where it like attaches to your penis. Well, actually, maybe they do. Some of you guys probably, some of these modern kids probably have like hyper advanced porn and shit where you got like some kind of device attached to you. Anyways, we'll stay out of that arena, but there's no feel here yet, at least not yet until they create like true Bannerlord hell mode, right, where a guy hits you and you get drilled in the face by some mechanical arm or something comes out of your computer. Wouldn't that be gnarly? But the point is, though, is that I'm babysitting these guys, right? I'm basically observing them by listening to the sounds to hear if they're getting killed, and of course I'm watching them. And I don't see a lot of death spam. That's great news, right? That means these guys, the positioning that I put these guys in is in a position to succeed. Now, during all that rambling there, of course, we destroyed the siege tower. That was a priority, and now we're just flaming their archers here before we go find some Greek fire. I'm going to look for some of those fireballs. We got 2 of these conventional catapults and then 2 piles of Greek flaming balls. We really do have a juggernaut defense here. This is not a situation the enemy should expect to win. They're flaming away there. Not thrilled about these guys being down there. Since they don't have any archers up here to protect, right, we'll just back them off a notch. Oh, shit. This fireball's here. I don't have a target, so we'll run over to this other side. And I want to see how these guys are doing, right? Oh, here's some guys. You guys can catch a fireball. Look, listen, and feel right here, right? And these guys are being swarmed. These are the enemy forces coming up the ladder. They are making it difficult on this right side. So we'll kind of observe what's going on here. The nice thing is they're not rallying troops. In other words, they don't have 70 guys standing with the shield wall there. They're coming in 5 at a time, and our troops are going to be more than able to handle that. I mean, look at that courtyard. It's packed with archers and skirmishers. And over here, of course, we have this long line of troops that's mauling them. Oh, this is beautiful. I think I can just see what the angle looks like here. This is fucking Armageddon for the enemy here. Kaboom! Kaboom! It's just a huge death spam, and this is optimal. Alright, so we're going to run out of these fireballs here pretty soon, right? Our guys are shooting them, and I'm throwing them. Frankly, we've annihilated most of the troops here at this ladder. Obviously, the enemy's going to have more waves, right? This is going to be a lengthy siege against 3,000 plus troops. But this is one of those things where my experience really makes the campaign easier. I am, at this stage, I'll go ahead and say it, I'm a siege guru. When you do 150 sieges strictly of Epic Siege, and what I mean by that is looking for the biggest possible sieges, you are very familiar with how to defend cities. Most of the cities across Calradia I have defended, some of them many times. So we've got the gate jammed up now here, right? I charged with an infantry division, and what that did, of course, is it jammed up the gate. So all these poor fucks trying to get in are now totally stacked up, just like I was earlier trying to get through my men, only these guys can't move, and they're getting mass concussions, right? This resembles the NFL 1998, circa 1998, right? Where every player gets 5 concussions a season because the fans want collisions, and the players want to please the fans, and so they're diving headfirst and getting obliterated, only to learn a couple 3 years later that, you know, now they can't fucking spell sheep, right? They're brain dead. These guys at the gate are absolutely brain dead, right? They got brained by, I don't know, I was like 15 rocks I just threw unimpeded. Now this is a terrible sign. Those are definitely militia and recruits running up on the walls. That means we've suffered enough losses that we're down to the scuzz, right? We're down to the fucking the belly button lint of this keep defense. We've got a bunch of guys with fucking blacksmith shirts on. It doesn't mean that we're about to lose. I don't want to intimate that kind of notion. We have tons of elite troops. In fact, this whole side, now that the enemy can't attack it because their siege tower is destroyed, we can use these guys here as enfilade fire, right? The archers will have some angle on them, but again, those 2 tiers of walls and those little protective edges really helps units in this kind of a situation. All right, this stupid fucking walkway. You gotta walk all the way around it. The enemy is pouring through the front gate because this is this is their primary access in here. But look at this shit, right? We've got like 300 infantry. In fact, we have so many infantry, our archers are bored, right? They're back here like, give me something to shoot at, boss. I'll kill them. And so what we are going to do is acquiesce to that request, right? We're going to open up this side over here. It seems like there's a little bit better angles over here, a little bit more space. And so we're going to push this square away from us here. In other words, I'm going to move it over about 10 feet towards the left as I'm looking at it there. And now we're going to... There's a lot of infantry in here. I want more archers. First, I'm going to get on my little axe work here. And then what we're going to do is get some archer divisions positioned here to succeed, right? These men will likely charge the square, at least for a little while. And if they don't, I have 2 different mixed divisions to charge with, right? We're not just going to leave this up to chance and hope that the enemy attacks the square. They're probably going to anyways, but we're going to have levers to pull in case they do something unexpected. You always got to expect the unexpected, and you want to have a plan for it, right? That's why you bring extra food when you go on a camping trip or something like that, right? Because some shit's going to happen. 7, 8, 47th. I've got the 7th. The 7th will be nice right here. The 7th is all archers. Got the 6th up there. Sometimes you just got to take a minute. The 7th is better here because it's all archers. And we want them kind of close, right? That way they're shooting at these guys at closer range. Now, there's basically an arithmetic to the system. If you put the units too close, in other words, my archers, if I put them like right next to the enemy here, those guys, oh shit, I've got to get these guys back. The 3rd Corps, as I told you, I charged the gate there. Those guys were charging like out the gate and bottling up the enemy, especially here. The enemy's got archers trying to shoot. These guys are going to get absolutely shredded, right? They're getting shot in the forehead. That amazing fucking... that amazing, in fact, they gave it up. They were like shooting and they're like, fuck it, it's not working. Let's just charge, right? So we switched to our axe here so we can split their skull, right? We're gonna get medieval on these motherfuckers. I've got this animation, this sort of overzealous animation for the axe swing, but I don't want to change it mid-battle here. I don't know. What do you guys think of that? There's like this big cartoon fucking waving streak behind this guy's axe. It's all units, I think. When they swing their swords, they get it too. It's like the weapon trail or whatever the fuck. I'm going to probably turn it down, but you guys obviously can leave feedback. Just right between the eyes. It's one of the best animations. There's a lot of good death animation, but that's one of the best. Just right between the eyes. The whole body gets numb because your fucking cerebral cord is severed. Your brain is deactivated, and they just fucking face plant. There's a lot of good animations in Bannerlord. They did a pretty fucking good job. And sounds too. Why? That's the sound I would make if a fucking battle axe swung by a professional warrior hit me directly in the fucking spinal column. Either that or there'd be no sound. Are they routing already? It might be. This has been such a beating. Let's charge these bitches and apply some more misery here. Let's make sure they rout. These guys did rout. Wow, this was an absolute throttling, complete, utter massacre here at Danustica. This is the kind of thing that if you were role-playing, the enemy's never going to siege Danustica again after this siege, right? This was the kind of siege where the attackers, whoever survived, they run back to the homeland, and they're like, okay, never siege that city again, right? Unless you want to demoralize the entire kingdom, never go back there, right? That was a shredding. And I'm surprised how well this city defended. And what I mean by that is there are some problems with this siege defense, right? It doesn't have a lot of room in the courtyard, especially and most importantly on the sides. There's not a lot of room to shoot the enemy. We're going to get up here and get a nice cinematic view of this beautiful city. There's another glorious, I can't tell if that's a moonrise or a bad sunset or whatever, but it's a glorious situation here to run back to our capital and not just win, but we shredded the enemy here, right? This is all fucking gravy, all kinds of EXP and leveling, and nobody died. This is fucking amazing. See if we get any elite loot here. Take some bitches prisoner here. And I think we're going back to Hubyar, right? I think it's time to go back to Hubyar. We're going back into the Southern Empire. There's some vengeance coming here against the Southern Empire, right? We're going to gather some troops. We're going to go to 2 or 3 cities. We've got a little bit of time now that we've destroyed this force. Oh, you know what? I've got to deal with Odrissa Castle first. But we've destroyed this first force. I'm actually, let's see. We'll just ransom some prisoners here. We'll see if we can make it to Odrissa Castle. I'm not going to deal with the other castles. I'm just going to have to hope that our companion armies deal with them. And then what I'd like to do is visit 2 or 3 of our locations that have a little bit of extra troops. And we're going to load up, right? I might even call a bunch of these companion armies to us and sort of reset everything, right? I've got 4 or 5 locations that have excess troops. And what I mean by that is they have like a garrison of 380 or something like that, where we can take 200. We might be able to pull 800 to 1,000 more troops and add them to our army here, call in some of the other armies, let them reform, and then hopefully take the largest army down to the south, right? Take an army. Hopefully we can get over 2,000 troops. This fucking dipshit just standing here. The Emperor is in shock, I guess. Come with us, you dipshit. Death before dishonor. Well, hopefully you die, you fucking dipshit. Whatever you do, don't run next time. He just sits there like a duck. We collect this Emperor. I have half a mind to execute him. We haven't done a lot of executing in this campaign. Of course, I think the only one was Ruwa, right? And that was obviously a very specific case. Hubyar, we're not going to make it there. I think because we're disorganized now, maybe if I disbanded all these armies and raced there with 300, but then we might not have enough forces to defend it. And I think here's the strategy here, right? Let's totally regroup. We've been able to pull this off, right? We've taken 3 cities in the Southern Empire, or 3 locations, right? 2 castles and Razi. Let's come back. We'll reset. We'll reload our armies here. There's 1 army here? Oh, well, this guy's a dead man. He's not even sieging it. We'll handle this, and then I'm gonna hit some cities. I could take a little break here too. My wife's coming home, for those curious. We'll take a little break here, but we're gonna reload some troops, and it's time for this campaign to take an offensive tint, right? It's time for this campaign to shift into overdrive and start to really fucking win this game, right? Win this world over to this magnanimous, violent, philosophical, hardworking Sultan here, Wazu Bahn. We'll release a few armies here. I want to gather all the armies. We'll see how I'm going to do this. And I may not film a lot of this because it's boring, right? So there's 346 troops at Vostrum. There's not very many there, but I know there's a ton at Morania. So we're going to reload here, right? We're going to hit a couple locations. We're going to rearm, so to speak. I'm going to gather a bunch of food. Hopefully our army's not too big. Hopefully it's not like Napoleon going into Russia. It's going to be big, there's no doubt. And maybe I'll talk a little bit about that, because that's what this is going to resemble. We're going to march into the Southern Empire with an overwhelming force, just like Napoleon did with Russia in 1812. And only hopefully we execute things better. Now, these stupid fucks want to pay us 4,000 gold for peace. I've changed my number, Western Empire, 10,000. Give me 10. I'm like fucking Joe Pesci, right, in Casino. Fucking 50,000. Give me fucking 50,000 or else no peace. Fuck these bitches, right? We're going to have war with all of them. All right, so with all that said, of course, you want to subscribe if you want to see more from this series, fellas. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you next time.